If you are a program manager, Projectum xPM offers you the ability to create your program top-down and then manage all the sub-work that's associated with your program, whether that be projects or epics if it's hybrid, ideas and many other work items you want to put into the box of a program. So let me show you a little bit on how it can be done. So right now in Projectum xPM, I'm logged in as a user, of course, and as a program manager, which means I have the access to go to the programs part on the left side here. When I click here, we see all the programs I'm allowed to see. Those could be just mine, but also my colleagues. And I can then from here, if I open up this one, create new programs top down, even before any projects are created that is linked to the program. So once we do that, we of course have to quickly go in and add initiatives of various types. And for that, I'm going to open up a program that already has lots of work put into it. So we're going to take the program X1 right here. So this means that in program X1, which I manage as a program manager, I will see that I have 1, 2, 3, 4 projects that are part of this program. I can also see, if I click on risks, all the risks that are part of the program. So for all the projects, but rolled up into one nice risk matrix view. So here you can see that there's quite a few. You can see the ID of them, and you can also on the right hand side see the prioritization of all risks across all the projects that are in the program. If I then as a program manager allow myself to oversteer some of these decisions or meta tags that are on the risks from the projects, I can then actually go in and take this risk and move it to here, this one and move it to there. This one should maybe go down here and this should go there. And as you can see on the right hand side, in real time, it reprioritizes the risk list as a whole. So now the number one most important risk to stay on top of is the equipment delivery delays, which I can then further down on the screen here, find in details and click on and then see, okay, this belongs to the AI Sentinel project and this is the mitigation step and these are the descriptions. So that's the way we can sort of track our way through to the details. Besides the risks, we also have a stakeholder matrix right here. So this is a way where you can go in and add your key stakeholders, whether they be external or internal. So if I click on new stakeholder, I can give it a name saying maybe Peter, the supplier. And sometimes the stakeholder might be external. So in this case, we are asked to provide an email. So this is my email. If it was an internal resource, then maybe you have to find the actual person from your list of resources within the company. So let's write Peter again, but then we find the person Peter, so that being me. And I can set up that Peter has a high interest in this program, but also medium influence. And we hit the save button. And again, like with the risks, we then have Peter, the supplier, in the stakeholder list down here. And we can also see at the top, if we quickly do a refresh, that we have one stakeholder in the matrix in the category of consult. So we have consult, partner, involve, and inform. So the different categorizations. These can be changed, by the way. If we then move over to the financials grid, we then see the complete picture of all sub-projects that are part of my program. AI Sentinel, Demo 500, we see the CapEx, the OpEx, and we can go all the way through to the lowest details of the cost breakdown structure if we want to. It also means that we can quickly summarize the whole thing and that the program itself as a whole can also carry its own budget. So the first row up here is actually the program. So the program could have a budget, and then the projects below the program could also have a budget, or they could simply just capture the actual cost. So budget is at the program level, actual cost is at the project level. So that part is also a standard in Projectum xPM. And finally, if we go to timeline, as a program manager, you would expect that you can see all the projects in one timeline. But what we can also do, if I quickly expand here, is that we can drill into them all the way through to the details. But we can also go up to the top level of the program as a program manager, where you can simply click the new tasks and add your maybe milestone 1. So that's a program milestone. Maybe you want to add a milestone 2. Which is something we see a lot of program managers do. Milestones, like with the projects, they are tagged with 0 days of duration. And you can then say milestone 1 is actually here, milestone 2 is here. So the program at the top level has its own tasks and work items, but also we can see it connected to the tasks and the projects below. And again, we can actually set up cross-hierarchy task constraints. So let's imagine that milestone 1 on the program up here depends on milestone 1 in this project down here. So I can actually, from the sub-project, connect it to the program milestone. And this means I see that there is a dependency, and also when this one then moves back and forth, we can calculate that this one up here on the program level is probably going to be delayed. So as a program manager, it's super easy for me to see how the program schedule connects to reality in the detailed planning for all the sub-projects in one view. And obviously also useful when you have to do program level status reporting. So again, if we then go back to the form here, at the very top, we can also manage the program in terms of governance. We have the program name, so that's part of creating the program. The program can be in business case, it could be in execute, so if we just move forward. We then have the start and finish date. So all these checklists are essentially the same as with a project. The program itself carries a governance model. If there's a lot of checklists you have to do as a program manager for each phase of your program, you can also expand it, and then the right-hand side of your screen will be a long checklist where you can see if you've done what you should. And as an example on what happens when you haven't done what you should, if I remove, for instance, let's go back to the business case here. If I remove the description like this and set that we are now in the business case stage, when I then try to progress to execute, we are simply blocked from doing it. Whereas if we type something in here, we can then see that there's a check mark, which is then what allows us to go back into the execution stage of the program. So again, governance can be applied not just for projects, but for any work item we have in Projectum xPM, and in this case, obviously, the programs. Finally, we also have the dashboard section, which is where you can see some key insights in terms of your program, but also the sub-projects and the sub-work that's part of your program. So here I can see active initiatives or projects by KPI. So the 2 that are red, one has no issues and one has no KPI. Maybe that's a problem. We have initiatives by state and status, active risks, initiatives by budget, by assignments, and also by work per user. So lots of different things that we can use to stay on top. And as a final note, at the very top up here, we can expand. And this is where AI, which is a standard part of the Power Platform, will show you a summary of your program, and you can then quickly copy and paste and send to your stakeholders or steering group. These were just some of the features that Projectum xPM offers to you as a program manager. Watch the other videos to learn much more about the topic of program management.